Downs Gaming and Hotel, we work extremely hard to make your experience here convenient, safe, and fun.
I love Batavia Downs Gaming.
We love it!
I love Batavia Downs Gaming.
We don't just like Batavia Downs Gaming, we love Batavia Downs Gaming.
Batavia Downs Gaming, Hotel, and Racetrack. We not only want you to like coming here, we want you to love coming here!
Folks, and one thing we love is talking wrestling, because you know this is not the show where it's wrestling with your budget. This is not the show where it's wrestling with your conscience. This is wrestling with emotion. And we got Ricky Starks with a same face in a new place. We got WWE on the road to WrestleMania, and we got AEW with a pre-recorded Dynamite maybe before Grand Slam in Australia. But let's get our bases loaded crew in here. We got Slick Saturday. We got your friend, our friend, my friend, Jake, Micah. We got the Prophet, Rob, Ryan. We got the head of the table. Bow to him and salute him, Mike Partham. And the last pop, the voice of reason is back. Get out of your seats for Ernie Green.
Let's go.
I acknowledge my voice of reason. So with that said, let's get it started, gents. Typically, we do our favorite thing in the world of wrestling today, but guess what? We're going to reverse it and save that for last. We have Ricky Starks resurfacing after a long time. So let's start with our voice of reason, Ernie Green, making an appearance. Is this going to move the needle for NXT WWE? And is this going to move the needle for Ricky Starks?
I think Ricky Starks had worn out his course in AEW, whether it's his fault, Tony Khan's fault, or a combination of both, which is probably what happened. I mean, I think a situation went sour, and I don't think either of them handled that sour situation well, and he moved on. I mean, obviously, being on TV is going to be more advantageous to his career than not being on TV, for better or worse, or for whatever the reason. I think he has a good shot at being a major player in NXT sooner rather than later. If anything, I think that, NXT WWE wants to, make old AEW guys prominent right away so they can tell them, hey, you come here and we're going to utilize you, just like they did right away with Ethan Page. It's kind of incredulous if we would have had this conversation in 2021 when AEW had all these fantastic, debuts, and we're like on the edge of our seats to see who is going to come in the AEW next. And it was so much fun to watch AEW. If we would have told you then that now WWE is the place where all the people are making the debuts, maybe not so much a surprise, but just like the shock debuts, these things just go in cycles. Right now it's WWE's turn. Right now it's incredulous to think that the pendulum could swing back to AEW at some point, but you never know, because we never would have thought this was going to happen with WWE. So it's really, to me, it's exciting just to see kind of like every few years right now, the pendulum will swing back and forth. I mean, you never know. AEW can make the comeback, and all of a sudden a bunch of WWE guys are making their debut. So it's going to be, I really like his chances to be prominent in NXT and maybe WWE later.
Mute Monster.
Oh, no.
Benjamin is swinging.
Don't need Maniac at this point. All right. So do you guys recall when Cody Rhodes went down to NXT and he happened to run into some old friends like Shawn Spears and Ethan Page and the now Lexis King? And he said to them, you know what? I think you guys are in a pretty good place. I'm pretty sure that Cody feels that way about Ricky Starks right now. And the fact that they fast-tracked Ethan Page in particular to a run with the NXT Championship, I don't think is any coincidence. And I don't think they're gonna necessarily fast-track Ricky Starks. I think they're going to slow build him a little bit more. But yeah, this is going to move the needle for Ricky Starks, definitely. I don't necessarily think it's going to move the needle for NXT from a rating standpoint, maybe a little bit of a bump, but all the people that know about Ricky Starks were probably watching NXT in the first place. But I think he's going to be he's going to be a big fish in a small pond. He is main roster ready, but it's not the right time for him, especially in the middle of WrestleMania season. They're already stacked to the gills on both main rosters. Give him a good run in the developmental. Let him be a big fish in a small pond. Let him be the big man on campus, especially. Hype him up the way they hyped him up from minute one. with the social media accounts and the commentators going crazy, basically hyping him up as this next big thing. Yeah, I think this is going to be good for Ricky. It's going to be good for NXT, and when he gets to the main roster, it's only going to get better for him. I mean, he's got guys on both main rosters, Cody and Punk, who are going to be a couple of his biggest advocates. I mean, Ethan Page didn't even have this much hype coming in, and I think he's been doing pretty good for the small title reign that he had and whatever he's doing now. So yeah, I see good things ahead for Ricky Starks. I think he's hungry. I think he's been chomping at the bit, just sitting at home for whatever reason. And I think this is going to be WWE's way of just, sticking to AEW a little more. Say, hey, you come here to a structured environment with all these guys around. Ethan Page has been glowing about NXT and all these, learning avenues that he has at his disposal down in Orlando. And I think Ricky's going to feel the same way.
I guess if we're looking ahead, we should have started with this guy. Prophet, how are we feeling?
Yeah, I'm excited. I think there's guys that they're always destined to be in the Fed one day, and Ricky Starks was one of them. And especially you can tell that, especially the moment we saw him at WrestleMania, and then everything that's happened since. We obviously had the GCW issue, and then we had I don't know what it is. We still don't know. Rumors is that creative told him that we don't want you anymore, whatever it is. I think this is always destined, and I think he's going to shine. I think the promo last night was hot. Something that was not expected is, I mean, we knew it was going to be quick probably after he was finally released from AEW. I didn't expect it to be, obviously it was in the works, but I didn't expect it to be the day after it was announced that he was being released from or whatever, day or two after he was being announced for release from AEW. But I'm excited, and we'll see, like everyone said already, the guys that come over from AEW have excelled right away. Obviously, you said Ethan Page. There's obviously Cody. Jade's a little longer, but she's on that trajectory as well to one day to be like a top star in WWE. So I think it's going to be good for Ricky Starks and good for WWE.
Micah, I know everyone's given their thought on going ahead. Give me a little of the background on your thoughts on how it ended up in AEW.
Yeah, I mean, I think personally, I was with Ernie at the start of this situation where it's both people, both parties probably at fault for the divorce, and that's kind of how it goes a lot in wrestling. But the issue with AEW a lot has been a lack of internal communication. I would say, there's a lot of stories with these recently released wrestlers talking about, their time with Tony Khan. They can't hear from him. They're hearing through other people, all this other stuff. So, maybe Tony just, ghosted him, put him on the bench and did do that. But usually the truth lies somewhere in the middle. I'm sure the thing is, if Ricky was planning to go to WWE, and it was like the worst kept secret in wrestling, like we've all been waiting for Ricky Starks to debut in NXT for what, 2 years now? Like since Cody left, it's been a long time. So we knew this move was happening eventually. So why build that guy up to give him more hype too, like in a business practice as well? So I see the both sides of it. I think it's good for Ricky. I think they should listen. Obafemi's about to fight Grayson Waller and Austin Theory at their next special. Ricky Starks should fight him at WrestleMania. Like Ricky Starks, Obafemi. Ricky doesn't even have to win, but that's a big time match. You put him in the A storyline right away. And honestly, I'm here for TV with Ricky Starks and Obafemi. So I think this is good for Ricky. Ultimately, his ceiling in the WWE, I don't see him as a main eventer. I never have seen him in any role. I think he would be a good role player, mid-card, US title, intercontinental title ceiling guy, and be a good piece for the roster, though. And I think he fits way better in WWE than modern AEW.
Very well said. I don't think he could ever reach a main event level. You know who could reach that level and would? His former tag partner, Big Bill. Slick, round us out here.
Yeah, I think this is great for Ricky Starks. He's very charismatic wherever you put him in. The entrance was awesome. It's very similar to the surprise entrance he just had at the Mall of America, the GCW show. I thought it was really cool touch how WWE put on their Instagram caption that a game changer just happened, not alluding to that indie promotion as some would call it at all whatsoever. But yeah, it's great for Ricky. I think well said by Micah and Ernie that this is always a two-sided thing. We just heard stuff out of Ricky's mouth. Basically, Ricky said everything that he could possibly say about the legal situation without getting involved in the contractual stuff. and getting in trouble. And now that he's officially released and we can have a second side, maybe something come to light, I think we might hear a little more detail. Obviously, who knows who to believe, two-sided things. I'm sure there was wrongs on both sides of it. But either way, I'm glad Ricky is a free man, and now with NXT doing what he wants, looks great. I will say though, guys, everyone's saying, "Oh, all these AEW guys, they come to WWE right away. They're stars." My girl Jade hasn't looked 40-0 since she was on TBS. That's all I'm saying. Penta's got the easy staircase up, being paired next to Rey Mysterio. That's going to make you popular every time, even though they shouldn't be doing that. So we'll see how it goes for Ricky. I think he's more worthy right now of a main roster spot than Ethan Page ever is and will be. But I think you're right, Partham. I think they're just a bit crowded right now, but I do hope he makes it up there. And maybe like Jake said, an intercontinental title run from Ricky Starks. Whew, absolute.
One more thing.
The ego.
Respect the ego. One last thing to touch on this, which relates to all this, but not directly related to Ricky Starks, but does include Ricky Starks. Contract tampering is rampant in professional wrestling.
Yeah, can we talk about how that he showed up?
It's worse than the NBA
after he was released,
and it's not just Ricky. It's not
going on.
Exactly. It's not just Tony. It's not just Triple. It's all of them. It's Triple H and Tony. They're all playing a game. They're all talking to these guys 6 months before they're out of their deals. That's just where we're at.
How quickly did Adam Copeland show up in AEW after his run with WWE ended?
Yeah, and guys, this isn't like a new thing. Don't forget that Vince McMahon met with Hulk Hogan like halfway through his WCW deal in like 1997 to try to bring him back. Like, I mean, this isn't like, and honestly, it's actually better than it used to be. I mean, when Name Redacted would take all the people, the stars from the territories, and rip them up, and they would all leave for WWF back in the day under pretty shady pretenses. They would just leave and not give proper notice. Hulk Hogan being one of them. And so this is honestly, yes, it's tampering's bad, but it's actually a lot better than the way it used to be, which is, I mean, not really saying much. It's like saying like, a guy throws 20 interceptions a year over 40, but still.
Very fair. With that said, anything else on the Ricky Starks segment before we move on?
Not good for him, man.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Looking forward to it.
I agree. I am looking forward to it. And I think I'll take the easiest take of them all, which is that no matter what, whether it's WWE or AEW, whether it's like, Ricky Starks or Ricochet, I guess, for example, just better when these guys are on TV. Give them the opportunity to get on TV and show what they can do. Then we can make the judgment on whether they're stars, whether they're that level for sure. Speaking of stars,
we've had a couple of other releases in the AEW realm. That was Miro and who was it? Malachi Black.
Yes, indeed.
This guy Parthy doesn't know the script.
Yeah,
it's all good. It's all good. He jumped a little ahead. It's okay.
Oh, so that's later. We're going to talk about that.
Well, we can just jump it right now. I mean,
why don't we do it right now?
Are they imminent? Are they imminent into WWE?
Malachi's one of Triple H's guys. I think he might be imminent. Miro is a little bit more on the bubble. Maybe he can go.
You don't want to see Rusev?
TNA. I mean,
I'd like to see Rusev. I don't know if they'd want to.
People
Rusev was beyond over when he left.
Rusev was the top-selling merchandise wrestler in WWE.
But can you catch that fire again?
If you
is Rusev Day over?
Are both of them at WrestleMania in some capacity? What would you put the odds at for both of them?
5%.
I think Raw after Mania, maybe for like a Malachi.
After Mania, if nothing else.
Odds, both of them are there. I would put it like 12-1, damn near.
Why am I blanking? What's his WWE name?
I'm serious. I don't think Miro will be. I don't think Miro will be even close.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I can see Miro going to TNA first. Like, don't forget this agreement. I think that there's going to be people who, sign with TNA, but it's kind of like WWE telling them to sign them and help them. And I think Miro is going to be one of those guys where he's going to be in TNA for a bit if he ever comes back to WWE or NXT. I don't see him coming imminently. I do see Malachi Black / Aleister Black. Triple H was a big advocate from him. He put on some bangers in NXT when he was a champion. Him and Andrade had some great matches. I was at one in New Orleans, so I would put the odds of Black showing up at Miro at like minus 5,000. He's coming first. By
You know,
far.
the word,
I agree.
the word about Evolve that's going to be coming on Wednesdays is that they're going to make it like the old Black and Gold. And you could definitely put Malister, Malachi, whatever the heck they're going to call him this time around, slot him right into that spot.
Alistair.
You know what, guys?
I would
Miro
love-
hasn't been on TV in a while. People may not remember him, know who he is. He could really use a rub right now. And you know who's hot is your guy, Joe Hendry. Throw him right into the TNA World Title picture.
I like
get
it.
Miro, get Miro hot
Well,
again.
Miro's-
I was gonna wait.
Rusev Day versus Joe Hendry. I mean, who says no?
I was gonna wait until later when we had the free segment. But if we were talking about Joe Hendry, see this the tea that was spilled today about, I think it was Bully Ray saying about maybe John Cena versus Joe Hendry for the
I'm
TNA
so
Championship.
over Bully Ray.
And then,
I'm
but,
sorry.
Bully Ray,
but
I
then Joe Hendry quote tweeted it with a picture from John Cena of a picture.
Joe
he tweeted.
Hendry literally tweets at these guys all
And
day,
Cena- and
every
Cena
day,
is
like
the
trying to
biggest
book the
troll
match himself.
I believe.
I
He's
will
a-
eat
here's
the
the-
salsa here. I mean, the pop at the Rumble was insane, but I think they're like, and Ernie can probably agree with this. Like, he's best kept in that role if they're gonna like look for that pop, right?
Well, I mean, it's very easy to get a. I mean, and we joke around with Partham about this. It's very easy to get a pop when your song is easily singable. Like if Joe Hendry just came out to like
Just me,
musical chords, like if Joe Hendry just came out to musical notes, he would not have got that pop because his song is fun to sing, and everybody knows the words. They're easy. So, I don't like Joe Hendry is who he is. He's a TNA champion. I don't see him going any further. I don't think that John Cena, who is one of the greatest and most money-making WWE superstars of all time, like getting involved in a TNA feud. Like I just like I don't and I honestly don't even get why people want it, to be honest with you, because there's so many better wrestlers. I mean, don't get me wrong, Joe Henry's made a name for himself and God bless him. But there are so many more interesting characters in NXT and TNA if they were going to go that route that John Cena can work with, let alone the multitude of characters in WWE that he can work with. I just don't see why people are clamoring for this, to be honest with you. I am not one of them, I promise.
Joe Hendry is kind of like Dogecoin.
Now say the analogy part.
He's kind of like Dogecoin. You know, he's made it way farther than you could have ever imagined, like based on the actual core like abilities. But at the end of the day, are you ever going to be able to take Dogecoin into a store and
Can you
like,
trust
pay with it?
Dogecoin?
Like, can you trust Dogecoin in a big spot?
Dogecoin in a big spot.
That's
Wouldn't
true.
take on my Dogecoin.
With that
Back
said,
to Miro / Rusev quick.
Yeah.
Before we move on from this, TNA would be perfect for him because his biggest issue was he did not like losing matches in AEW. So he could just go to TNA and be world champ for like a year and a half, and he would be happy as could be, it seems like.
My lightning theory I came up with, JD McDonough goes out on the Raw after WrestleMania and issues an open challenge, and Rusev's music hits. Like, you don't think Rusev would be over at that point? Like, as he's stomping out to the ring and he does the break animation? Yeah.
Or better yet, Dom does an open challenge.
Oh,
Like,
see,
come on.
even better. Now we're cooking.
Yeah.
Now we're cooking. And
Dom
speaking of
versus
always cooking,
Rusev. Oh my God.
Dom versus Rusev. All you just hear is Rusev Day.
dude.
Well,
Is,
that guy's name,
is Rusev Day better or the
Aiden have, what's his
Redeemer
name?
better?
Aiden English, who came out and did the whole shtick. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
Who would you rather see in WWE, Rusev Day or the
I feel
Redeemer?
like he would probably do the Redeemer. I
It
feel
would
like
definitely
that's
be
who
the
he would go
Redeemer,
for,
but like
yeah.
Rusev was like the one thing that during the Vince era of booking that when I tuned back in and saw that was going on, I was immediately like, I love this. I don't know what it was.
Aiden English clearing his throat and shit was getting like monster pops. Like, are you kidding me? For
Oh
sure.
yeah, at the Royal Rumble when he cleared his throat, when Rusev came out first, they had a massive pop.
Oh my god, dude. Unbelievable. Oh my god, I just knocked my phone off my vest. All right, well, we're getting knocked over. WWE is hotter than shit, for the last 30 months, and we are on the road to WrestleMania. We are on the way to Elimination Chamber. But what's that? I think it's time for some train wreck trivia.
Batavia Downs. More, lots more.
Trivia presented by Batavia Downs, where you win more, lots more. We are on our way to Elimination Chamber. 8 years ago today, this man won his first WWE title at Elimination Chamber. Who was it?
Bray Wyatt, I was there.
Yeah.
It was Bray Wyatt. Who were the last two people he pinned in
Wow.
the match, Ernie Green?
Well, Cena was one of them,
Ah!
and because Cena was the champion at the time,
Mhm.
and I believe AJ Styles.
AJ Styles. You want to talk about going over clean pins on them both. Bray Wyatt, your WWE champion on this day in 2017. RIP, obviously. Bray Wyatt, an amazing figure in the wrestling world. Yes, obviously, we're on our way to Elimination Chamber. Wow, the Fireflies are out for Bray Wyatt. That's amazing. And Jey Uso has an opponent is our first note on our way to Elimination Chamber. My other note about Elimination Chamber as we get into it, on the WWE Road to WrestleMania talk here, we can kind of fluctuate with it between it. We have Jey Uso as an opponent in Gunther, and there's only 2 matches right now for Elimination Chamber, 19 days away. And they're both chamber matches? Who we don't know who's in it?
Do you guys think broad strokes here with what's going on? Do you think they are trying to be unpredictable on purpose because everybody was roasting Triple H for being too predictable for so long? Like, that was an internet sentiment that started building up November, December, and now we don't know anything about WrestleMania really for all the big stars except Jey Uso and Charlotte, who people are very divided on Jey Uso, and I think mostly people are out on Charlotte, even though I love Charlotte. No shot out her. What do you guys think?
Well, yeah, I mean, Jey Uso, I mean, I don't think there's ever been a match in the history of us having this show that literally no one even like had a thought of him winning. So, I mean, there's that. And I mean, I think we know kind of where the title matches are going to end up. Maybe Rhea, we don't really know so much. And Cody, I guess there's 2 options for Cody. So, I mean, I guess if you say that's not, I guess it's better than what we've known in the past, where obviously outside of the whole Rock situation last year, we kind of knew where everything was going. So, I mean, I guess so. And that makes good TV because that's what's all about. This is still, I know we're trying to get away from the entertainment portion of like the whole thing, calling it wrestling again, but that's what it's all about. I mean, that's the only way you make it on TV every week. So
if the final boss's music hits on March 1st, I mean, he's main eventing WrestleMania. I hate to say it. Sorry.
Will you give it up with the final boss? He's not going to show up.
Oh my God. You don't think
open for the
if
final
the final boss calls Ari Emanuel and the Netflix execs that he's going to be on the main event of WrestleMania?
Obviously, he could, but he's not.
Like to make a stipulation with that one like you did last year?
Barth, you forgot to add a very simple word to that sentence. Yet. All it takes is one call.
Would you like to say you'd have to fall off a cliff?
Someone
back when he was the
picked the final boss to win the Royal Rumble and he didn't even show up.
Call Rock on his
I'll
phone.
take a top 5 odds bet, and yeah, call Rock on his cell phone when you need a
final boss.
Ernie, what do you right now? We're all over the board here. We got Jey Uso good there. What's your WrestleMania main event?
Well, here's the thing. You know, CM Punk made a point, and they've emphasized it on social media, that John Cena didn't have to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. I think Cena is going to win the Elimination Chamber, and I think that Punk's point that it's unfair that he made that he didn't have to qualify to get in is going to be, and I think it's going to be justified. I think that day one main event is going to be Punk versus Rollins versus Roman, and that winner is added to John Cena versus Cody Rhodes in day 2. That is my prediction. I think that I think that they set a precedent last year where a day 1 match, you know, a stipulation on day 1 leads into a bigger thing on day 2. That's kind of an out of the box type thing, but that is kind of my prediction for that. And I think that Cena wins at the Elimination Chamber because Roman comes back and costs Rollins the match, and maybe inadvertently or vertently costs Punk the match also.
I've heard that theory before, and you know what? The one thing that I didn't factor in, I should know better than this. When a hit is dropped, yes, I should. When a hit is dropped, you have to know it's got to be paid off later. When Punk says, "I have a favor from Paul Heyman," you know that has to factor into WrestleMania in some fashion. So he didn't have to win the Royal Rumble. But, of course, I couldn't have predicted Jey Uso. None of us did. Since I was not here last week, I was under the weather. Just one point. I have no problem with Jey Uso winning the Rumble. He's over as hell. He's going to finish his story against Gunther at WrestleMania, and it's going to be great. The only thing that I wish they hadn't done is book Jey Uso to lose to Gunther at Saturday night's main event, literally 1 week before the Rumble. It's like if you release, shut up. Let me make my point. It's like if you release Rocky and Rocky 2 in consecutive weeks. You don't give it's like if you did Avengers Infinity War and Endgame in consecutive weeks. You don't give enough time to let the story marinate. It's like if you did instead of WrestleMania 40, you did the Cody Roman rematch at the next pay-per-view or the next PLE.
But they're not.
I think that match existed to throw us off the scent.
They're like a couple.
Too hard.
That is what I'm saying. No, I agree. I agree with Micah.
I agree.
I agree with you though, Parthy.
I thought there was 0% chance he could have won the Royal Rumble.
I agree with you though, Partham. It's because they're trying too hard. That's what I'm saying with this unpredictability, like leaving everything open. I think Triple H is like, oh, you guys think I'm boring and gonna keep this by the numbers. Now everything's up in the air for WrestleMania. Now I can do anything. Now that main event could be anything.
But it's not like a hot shot at Jey to win the Royal Rumble. They had it planned out since October.
But that's what I think. I think they did the Saturday night main event to be a misdirection, so none of us were thinking about Jey. It's like, well, Jey just had the title match. That was
you guys think I'm predictable? I'm the game. God damn it! And it's time to play.
Cerebral assassin. I'm 3.
Big Daddy Mark's gonna pay face value for his WrestleMania tickets.
Anyway, so as far as main events, I could see a qualifying match for a triple threat for the Cody's title in the night 2. I could just see Punk saying, well, if Cena didn't have to qualify for the Elimination Chamber, why do I have to qualify for the title match? I can just call in the favor from Paul and say, hey, make a few calls, call in a few favors, and say I'm added to the title match.
My only problem with that is what mystical power does Paul Heyman have in the
WWE
I
agree. That's where I'm hesitant on saying that's going to be what it is.
That is the favor.
Yeah, I agree.
It would be awesome.
The thing is, if we're talking politicking on TV,
that's where I was going.
Exactly. The point is that Cena just politics.
Yes.
So Punk's like, fuck, bro, you can't just do that for him. Am I a star here, Adam Pearce? Do I deserve this treatment? I'm moving all this. I'm here every week. Cena's not here every week. CM Punk's here every. Cena has a good Punk.
Ernie, was it who said Cena should just go full on-screen Hogan at this point and just politic everything? And be
it wasn't me. I think that's funny though.
I think he's
I
doing
thought that would
it.
be
I think
outstanding.
he's doing it.
I think Micah said
he said he's having a farewell tour. He's only showed up at 2 pay-per-views now. At his last press conference, he just booked himself into a match. This was a guy who was like, everything is earned, hustle, loyalty, respect. They booked himself into a match. If that's not a complete departure from John Cena's character for the last 20 years, I don't know what is. So I think he's showing us what he's doing.
That's mad funny though. That literally this guy is gonna end his career with just not hustling at all, having no loyalty to the brand and the fans that he's at, and not respecting the current roster at all, and just politicking and picking the top spots.
You live long enough to see yourself. You live long enough to see yourself.
And then you have. Are
we gonna see him become the villain?
I think
it would be perfect storytelling.
He is turning desperate. He sees his age in front of him. He's seeing his wrestling mortality and wants to break that record. And he's now getting willing to do anything he needs to do it. And it started by booking himself into this damn match. We've never seen Cena do this. Cena's the guy who had the Money in the Bank and was like, I'm calling you out ahead of time and we're wrestling at SummerSlam.
Could we
Undertaker, I'm gonna book WrestleMania by myself for 2 months.
You know what we should have on the Raw of a Raw or SmackDown leading up to Mania between the Chamber, just a 4-way match between Cena, the final boss, CM Punk, and Logan Paul to see who can politic their best way their way into the match best. Just Logan Paul for fucks of it, but who has the right to politic their way into WrestleMania amongst everyone?
Bro, John Cena bought a ticket to WrestleMania. He was true. Just in case I need to be
just in case the Undertaker's there.
Seriously.
So Micah, could you possibly see this is a thought that came through my head. Could you possibly see a final 3 of Punk, Rollins, and Cena at the Elimination Chamber, and one of those 2 pins him clean? He loses fair and square, and then he attacks the guy and turns heel. Say Rollins pins him, and then he attacks Rollins after he's out of the match, and and then Punk pins Rollins where Cena goes heel. That's kind of a possibility that just popped in my head right now.
I'm thinking more that Punk is the one that gets screwed over. Like someone gets eliminated, like Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, and then on their way out, they decide to low blow Punk and give him a few extra shots or whatever, and then he gets pinned as a result of that. And his point of view is, well, I know it's no disqualification in this match, but I essentially got screwed out of my opportunity to wrestle for Cody's title at Mania. This is where he calls in the favor, and that maybe that justifies just putting him right in the match.
I do think there is something to what you said earlier, Ernie, about like the match leading into the other. Like maybe it's Cena Punk, one of them getting screwed over, and then they politic their way into the night one match, and whoever wins that gets Cody on night two. But I do think Punk is going to end up winning this, and I think those are the final three. And then that's when we get. I don't know how do you break into a chamber though? I feel like
I'm not saying Roman is going to break into a chamber. Somebody in the
year?
chamber is going to be eliminated, and then they're going to screw Punk on the way out.
I think we're getting
AJ Styles last year, or was it AJ?
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Logan Paul did the
That's
late.
right.
Yeah, Logan Paul.
I think we're getting.
Logan Paul.
Shawn Michaels screwed the Undertaker in the
door.
Elimination Chamber.
Yeah,
Logan
I
Paul
think
just
all
barely
roads
laid
lead
down in the way
to.
of the
I think
door.
all roads lead to Roman and Rollins. I think they're trying to throw us off the scent that they're going to finally do this match, and so I think that somehow we're getting the build. Roman coming back and attacking Seth and costing him in that final three.
Yeah, another funny Cena idea would be if Cena, who politicked his way to get in the match for free at Elimination Chamber, wins, and then he gets pissed at Punk because Punk politics his way in the match and gets in for free as a complete hypocrite. He gets mad even though he did the same exact thing.
And then Cody gets to call both of them out on this. He's like, y'all are just old heads holding on to dear life, and I've been here every fucking day earning this title.
Dude,
like,
Ernie,
wow.
and then Ernie, imagine what you said is going on, and then the final boss shows up on his SmackDown, and he's like, the fact that Phil is in the main event of WrestleMania and I'm not makes me sick.
Four-way.
You know what I think?
Four-way.
You know what I think?
And that could honestly
Cinema.
Yeah, like
kind of move him into like come the fuck on. You know what I'm saying? Like so he goes from one-on-one match to a fatal four-way, and he's just pissed.
Can you imagine it? Can you imagine it ending on USA where Cody Rhodes is ranting at John Cena and CM Punk for politicking their way, and it literally just ends with the final boss's music hitting and him posing with an eyebrow, like looking at him.
Or he just puts up the four for a fatal four-way.
Yeah, yeah. He would do it instead of the three. He goes four. Like that would be so hysterical.
I think if the final boss comes back, we're getting another one of these.
I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest.
the Maniac, if that happened, it would just go off the air with Michael Cole going like, what does this even mean?
Exactly, dude. Ridiculous. By the way, speaking of what does it mean, we've gone on a tangent on the road to WrestleMania. A lot of good things can happen. I'm gonna fantasy book the end of John Cena's career here, though. He does turn heel. He somehow wins like a micro championship run, loses it in like 90 days or something in the fall. He has ruthless aggression where he goes, you know what? I'm going to go out on top. Let's give some young up-and-comer a shot. I'm going to end my career like I spent some of it. Open challenge. And then bum, 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 bum. Kurt Angle enters the arena.
No.
And he goes out against the guy he challenged first, and you get a chance to actually end Kurt Angle's career in WWE like you should with a good quality match against a top tier opponent, and you get to right that wrong.
In a fantasy world, yeah, but is Kurt Angle even like medically cleared? Is he even able?
No, in this fantasy world, everyone is medically able.
You
and
know what I
everyone's
think of
ready to
that
go.
one?
Oh,
Who the fuck wrote this bullshit?
Bullshit.
All right. Speaking of which, I can't pull up the graphic right now. I don't know what's going on with my internet, but AEW Dynamite tonight, it's pre-recorded.
I believe so.
I
Yeah.
believe they taped it
Last night.
A lot of stars are traveling to Australia.
There's a lot.
tonight.
There's a lot of shit happening on this card for a pre-record.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. They probably got a collision in while they were at it.
Oh my gosh! All right, so I just pulled up. We got the Death Riders versus the Undisputed Era over there. A little party there. You guys looking forward to this? Like what's our vibe here on the AEW things with
I'm just surprised they have trios titles.
I'm super excited about this commercial.
Elon just shut us the fuck down right on live. That was crazy.
You know, I'm excited about that commercial-free promo between MJF and Dustin Rhodes. I mean, who doesn't want to see that? Yeah.
Hell has arrived.
Match? Is it a
MJF.
match?
I will say Dustin is
It's a
doing
match.
the old
It's a
guard guy
promo.
better
It's a
than
match.
Jeff Jarrett did.
Commercial free promo.
Yeah.
Profit. You think they're both gonna be in the ring and they're gonna be like, we'll be right back here on Dynamite.
It wouldn't surprise me. MJF,
I wouldn't
fucking
either. I
MJF.
wouldn't either.
Dude,
With
but,
match.
I'll tell you-
mid promo cutting to a commercial would be so fucking funny.
I'll tell you what, I'm pretty excited for that tag title match. I like how they have been presenting the Hurt Syndicate, and I was pretty excited when the Guns came back.
I love the Guns.
I think they were well presented when they went away for a bit, and they were well presented again when they came back. Colton just needs to work on the mic stuff a little bit more, but this will be a good first match for them back right into the title picture, a way to make them feel important again.
Back into the title picture by losing their first title match, and it's a title match. It's a hot shot.
By being in the match,
It's a hot shot. They should be built up
lose.
into a tag title match. That's how you do it. That's how you book a team.
Or you could have them lose in a like heelish way when they're about to win, because that's what the Hurt
But they're not being
Syndicate
presented
does.
as the heels. Hurt
I
Syndicate
think the
are.
Guns. I think
Hurt
this is the
Syndicate
start.
Yeah.
Listen, I think the Guns are. I think this is the start of the Guns trying to impress the Hurt Syndicate. I think this is going to be a story thing as much as anything. The way that they kind of interacted.
Partham, they literally hurt people, dude. Like, of course they're heel.
Who comes out for the Max Caster Open Challenge?
Oh,
Best wrestler
Hangman.
alive.
I think
Hangman.
Hangman and
Hangman would be great. Hangman would be great.
The best wrestler alive.
Where does the Guns many men entrance rank all time among AEW entrances? I gotta say top 5.
Top 5. I was gonna say.
The only one entrance that I think is better is the Elite / Dark Order Hangman combined Space Jam
Space Jam
entrance
was
that
great.
they did, like, which was just still unfathomable to this day.
The very first Elite Carry On Wayward Son.
Yeah, that one was great. I was just about to
The-
say that,
the
Mike.
final
That's
Jade
great.
entrance. That was magical.
All right, folks. Thank you very much for tuning in here on the show. But let's do a wrap up roundtable here. Let's start it off with Ernie, and we can go around the horn here. What's favorite thing in wrestling you're looking forward to these next couple weeks?
I'm looking forward to seeing what the hell other matches are going to happen at Elimination Chamber. There's 2 other matches. I think someone else's title is going to be on the line, and I think for once, like for whether Triple H is doing it to appease the people who say he's too predictable or not, there are so many different ways that the Elimination Chamber can go with 3 or 4 people that I can see winning the match. I don't think Logan Paul's going to win, but I mean, there's other people that can win the match, and I'm just excited to see where that's going to go. And that I think just that match itself is intriguing. I think that's the most intriguing thing to me in pro wrestling right now, even though there are a lot of other things intriguing in pro wrestling. And I will say that AEW, I think, finally is getting their footing a little bit better. Like they're not as disjointed. As Partham said, they were as disjointed as the Jacksonville Jaguars in the first half against the Bills at one time. They don't see as disjointed anymore. They seem like they are actually like getting a little bit of footing, and hopefully they'll make a rebound because when both places are good, that's when pro wrestling's better.
Shout out Shad Khan's yacht.
Well, outside of the intrigue regarding the match for Cody's title at WrestleMania, I'm looking forward to who we're going to see emerge as Rhea Ripley's potential opponent coming out of Elimination Chamber, because we all thought it was going to be Io Sky, but then Io kind of got the short end of the stick trying to qualify for Elimination Chamber, and now they're just going to do this match on the SmackDown, the Raw after Elimination Chamber, and unless some kind of shenanigans happens where Io gets screwed over again and then gets factored into the Rhea's title match at WrestleMania somehow, I'm a little taken aback as to who Rhea's opponent's going to be, because it's pretty clear that Charlotte and Tiffany are on a collision course right now. Charlotte hasn't made her official decision yet, unlike Jey Uso, but we're all pretty 99% sure it's going to be the tall blondes fighting one another at WrestleMania. So who Rhea's opponent's going to be now, that air of mystery that Triple H is trying to create here, he succeeds as far as Rhea's future at WrestleMania.
I'm going to go on a different route, maybe not so WrestleMania looking forward to. I'm looking forward to see what happens with the Judgment Day, because obviously we had the first breakup with Rhea and Damian, but signs are starting to show that whole group is going to break, especially Finn these last few weeks. So I'm just going to see what happens. If another Judgment Day, I guess 4.0 at this time starts, or if it's a totally different, just total breakup. So I'm interested to see what happens there. I love to be on the screen, but you can keep.
I didn't realize it was me. I shuffled myself out. Real quick for me, this is an easy one. How many times in a row can WWE shove Jey Uso's entrance down Parthy's throat? Let's open it up. Let's run it back. Oh, again. Let's go.
I will add the one more time thing is awesome.
Oh my God, dude, it's ridiculous. Even when we had it happen right in our face at SummerSlam for the very first time, he literally cranked it up right in front of us for the first time. I even how cool it felt then, I would never have ever thought it could have been 10% this big. They have definitely taken and ran with it. Yeet, Omania is going.
What do you mean by
wild.
shoving it down my throat as if it's supposed to be offensive to me? Like I hate Jey Uso. I don't.
Yeah, but Parthy, you didn't think it was even a sing-along or a good entrance. And
It wasn't at the time. They weren't singing along. Now they are. Good for him. It would have helped if he had a melody like Sami Zayn, like Shinsuke Nakamura, like Seth Rollins. It would have helped. But now apparently they don't need a melody to help him. He's so freaking over that they're just shouting the words to his entrance. Great for him. Good for him.
Who the hell told you tonight was open mic night, bitch?
Yeet.
Hey, you called me out, man.
Shut up, I'm conducting business.
All right, well, as I was going to say, I'm also excited to see when they start making that international tour in March. I mean,
right.
America has been picking it up lately, and we saw what happened last year when they were going to all these international places. So I'm excited to see some yeeting in all these different countries.
I can't wait to watch Raw at like
yeah.
11
Speaking
a.m.
of yeeting in different countries, thing I'm looking forward to the most is Harley Cameron versus our group chat's favorite wrestler in the land down under, Mercedes Moné, for the TBS championship. Gonna be a banger down under, baby.
I love Harley.
You're not looking forward to your girl Mariah May?
She'll be there too.
Yeah, that's gonna be a banger too. Grand Slam's gonna be fun Saturday night, so that's a good time. I could say Sammy and Kevin every week. Nothing's really happened there until Sammy comes back, so I'll resume on that. My favorite thing right now, and I think it was on Raw, they really touched on it. They really told you what was going on. This downfall of Seth Rollins, whatever big heel turn that is on the way, is being done so well. It's been some of the best character work from Seth the last 3-4 months with the Punk stuff going into the Rumble, everything. And Finn said it right on the Sunday. He's like, we all see what's happening. It's the downfall of Seth Rollins, and this is coming in. That's going to be a great dynamic for WWE going forward. I think Rollins hasn't been a proper heel in a long time, but when he was one of the best heels in the business. And now with all that knowledge he's gained from 8 years, however long ago he was as an actual heel with the Monday Night Messiah and everything like that, I think he could do some great work. So I'm excited for that.
Seriously? Is that long ago?
I mean, it was pandemic, and that's 5-6 years ago. Yeah.
Wow, the cat with the perfect run-in at the end, a la Kevin Owens and Solo Sikoa. Which end of show attack surprised you guys more? Kevin Owens on Sami Zayn or Solo Sikoa on Cody Rhodes?
I think only because how quick it was. I think that both were expected, but I think it was more I thought that Kevin was going to be a little later, so I think that one was more surprising.
I think for me it was Solo.
Yeah. I didn't expect Solo to be back that soon, but running it back against, I mean, it seems a little repetitive. This might be, if there's any avenue for the final boss to get involved in something, I doubt it very much, but this would be one avenue for it by sticking Solo Sikoa on Cody.
Solo,
I'm not saying it's going to be, but if it was going to be, that would be an avenue.
I want to add something there. I think about that with Jacob Fatu, he's starting to take a bigger step in the whole whatever we're calling the bloodline now. I don't know if that Solo Cody thing is happening.
Rob, I also think Solo showed up by himself. Maybe we're just getting Solo back to being his literal name, Solo Sikoa. And maybe he's just in the chamber and it's just him targeting Cody. And I think it's just another one of these Triple H instances where he's like, oh, maybe Solo's going to fight Cody. Here's another option. Solo's back. I really don't think he's going to fight Cody.
Solo Sikoa is like the Rita Repulsa of the Cody Rhodes universe. There's no chance he's ever gonna win, but he's like the main villain almost. He just shows up all the time and gets made to be ominous and crazy. But thank you for being ominous and crazy with us. Make sure to tune into AEW Dynamite tonight. You are not gonna want to miss that commercial-free promo battle between Dustin Rhodes and MJF. Huge shout out to our panel, Micah, Slick, Arthi, Ryan the Prophet, and a huge shout out to Ernie Green for braving that spring training waste management traffic and joining us today. Make sure you're enjoying your wrestling. Make sure you're having a great week, because this is not the show where it's wrestling with your budget. This is not the show where it's really wrestling with your conscience. This is wrestling with emotion.
Yeet.
Yeet.